Hello everyone, Kino Jack is in touch, and today I will tell you about the 11th and 12th episodes of the 11th season of the Walking Dead series. For a better understanding of what is happening, I advise you to look at the retelling of the previous series using the links in the description. Eugene wakes up in bed with Stephanie. He officially gives her the key to his apartment and says he loves her. Stephanie reciprocates. Eugene comes out of Stephanie's apartment and sees her waving to him from the balcony. Eugene tells the princess that he confessed his love to Stephanie, and she reciprocated him. He worries about the next step, but the princess advises him to relax. Eugene is waiting at the ice cream van for a date with Stephanie, but she never shows up. He calls Stephanie's apartment and gets no answer. A man comes out of the building. Eugene slips inside before the door closes. He knocks on Stephanie's door. No one answers. Inside, Stephanie quietly and hurriedly gathers her things. The horses are arguing with the newspaper editor about an article about Tyler, who threatened Pamela at a masquerade. She insists that they tell the truth. They retold Pamela's press release, but her editor warns Coney to stick to the line of conduct. Eugene investigates Stephanie's disappearance and goes to the communications department at Union Station. On the monitor of the radio room, he learns that Stephanie was called to work due to illness. Connie Kelly tries to talk to Tyler at the hospital where he is being held, but a soldier guards Tyler's room. Mercer closes the door in their faces. Rosita or Wids comes into Stephanie's apartment to check on her health. When no one answers, they take the keys and open it. Rosita informs Eugene that Stephanie is not in the apartment. She offers Eugene to help fill out a missing person report at the station. Hornsby Carol ride the wagons outside the walls of the Commonwealth. Hornsby explains that he hopes to enlist her help. They arrive at a farm that supplies the Commonwealth hospitals with opium. A man named Moto informs Hornsby that farmers are delaying the opium harvest in exchange for higher prices. Coney and Kelly come on a military walk for a newspaper article. The logistics officer directs them to the carriage, and Mercer jumps into a military truck. The princess visits Eugene at home and discovers that his wall is covered with evidence about Stephanie's disappearance. Eugene explains that he almost gave up on the investigation until a chance encounter gave him hope back. During the flashback, Eugene encounters a man who left Stephanie's house the night he was looking for her. He asks him if he remembers anything about that evening. The man rudely explains that he just went into the building to fix a clogged sink and does not remember seeing Stephanie. Eugene tells the princess that he was following a man named Roman Calhoun. He declares that Roman is not a plumber. In the flashback, Eugene keeps an eye on a warehouse disguised as a plumbing store, which Roman visits at night. Eugene tells the princess that the same 4 people enter and leave the warehouse at odd hours, and sometimes a 5th person appears, who is probably the organizer of the group that kidnapped Stephanie. He says that one of these people, who was nicknamed the Man in the Hat, took all of Stephanie's things out of her apartment. He vows to expose this group. Hornsby Moto discussing business while fishing. Carol notices that one of the opium farmers is watching them closely. 2 Commonwealth soldiers are running away from walkers in the woods, one of them is wounded. A wounded soldier manages to hide in an abandoned pickup truck while a walker attacks another soldier. Mercer cleaves the walker's head, saving both of his soldiers. He catches up with Coney and Kelly and asks if Coney got everything she needed for her story. Coney leaves the script and demands to tell what Tyler is accused of. She also asks if Tyler is being punished because his hostage at the masquerade, Max, was Mercer's sister. Mercer warns her not to dig any further. Eugene and Stephanie are watching Roman's house. They break into Roman's apartment when he goes out for a run. Carol tells Hornsby that she talked to one of the farmers and found out that Moto is pocketing the money that Hornsby gives them for a pay raise. She says he also beat farmers to get their silence. Hornsby orders the soldiers to arrest Moto. Eugene and the princess search Roman's apartment and find a suitcase with knives and pistols. They hide when they see Roman coming back. Eugene and the princess try to sneak away, but they are caught by a neighbor who called the police after seeing that they had entered the building. Both attackers were arrested and sent to prison. Mercer discovers that Tyler has been transferred and tells the nurse that Tyler had no right to be transferred without his permission. She replies that obviously someone had permission to do this. He punches the wall in anger and leaves. Hornsby visits Eugene and the princess in prison and assures them that there is an affair. The plumber who was sent to Stephanie's house to fix the sink. He says Roman has agreed not to press charges. But they have to promise to leave him alone. Eugene tells the princess that the conspiracy is deeper than he thought. The princess begs him to abandon the investigation and insists that Stephanie just broke up with him. At home, Kaylee tries to cheer up Coney, who is unhappy that she has to write an article about Mercer. Coney finds a note that someone slipped under the door. This is a list of names, including Tyler's name. Eugene sneaks into a secret warehouse and hears voices upstairs. To his surprise, he runs into Stephanie. Hornsby shows up and tells Stephanie he'll sort it out. Eugene cries, realizing that Stephanie used him to get information about his community. Hornsby apologizes for the deception, but notes that Eugene's group is now thriving in the Commonwealth. Eugene burns the evidence of his investigation in a bonfire. A woman approaches him from behind and says she needs to talk. She uses nicknames that only he and Stephanie used with each other on the radio. Eugene turns around. Female, Max. She tells me that she is the real Stephanie. Max explains to Eugene that she met him on the radio, which she assembled from spare parts. She says Mercer, who is her brother, discovered her illicit affair and warned her that Hornsby was investigating the communication breach. Max tells Eugene that she didn't meet him together because Hornsby might have discovered her. She says she didn't say anything when she saw Eugene with Stephanie because they seemed happy together. During the flashbacks, Max comes in to see if there's anything Pamela needs. Hornsby comes to Pamela with interesting news. Back in the present, Max tells Eugene that Hornsby talked about Alexandria to Pamela, but she doesn't know what they're planning. Still experiencing Stephanie's betrayal, Eugene bursts into tears and runs away. Hornsby and Pamela are going to Alexandria. On the way, Pamela shares her fears that the inclusion of new settlements in the Commonwealth will lead to the depletion of its resources. Hornsby claims that Alexandria, Hilton and Oceanside are perfect for his concept. Aaron and the committee meet Pamela's column when she arrives in Alexandria. Aaron tells Pamela a brief history of Alexandria. Mercer asks how they keep Alexandria safe. Daryl says they fought many battles to protect her. Pamela remembers how in the old days she crossed paths with Dina, the founder of Alexandria. Daryl says Diana always rebuilt Alexandria when she fell. To Hornsby's chagrin, the walker breaks through the wall. Daryl kills him. Pamela says she's seen enough. During a routine visit to the hospital, he is surprised to learn that his operation was postponed to an earlier date. Pamela is relaxing on the beach in Oceanside. Hornsby informs her that Rachel is ready to receive her. Rachel is giving Pamela and Hornsby a tour of the West Side. She explains that Maggie has decided not to enter into an alliance with the Commonwealth and that Oceanside will only cooperate with the Commonwealth if Maggie agrees to it. On the way to Hilltop, Hornsby reprimands Aaron for not being able to prevent the walkers from appearing in Alexandria and not knowing about Maggie's decision. Hornsby warns that if Maggie refuses, he will no longer help Alexandria. Their column stops. Maggie kills walkers on the road ahead. Pamela, Daryl, and Commonwealth soldiers help Maggie kill walkers. Pamela introduces herself. Maggie asks Daryl why he trusts the Commonwealth. Daryl says he doesn't really trust them, but admits it's good to have the resources to rebuild Alexandria. Iron makes the case for the Commonwealth and asks if Maggie will join them. Hornsby suggests an impromptu hunt. In the woods, Pamela invites her Maggie to hunt together. During the hunt, Pamela confesses to Maggie that she was initially skeptical about visiting Alexandria, Hilton and Oceanside. However, she admits that numerous city-states fighting with each other for resources are not beneficial to anyone. She offers to protect the Hilton. Carol visits Ely at home and pretends to be surprised when Keel tells her the news about his operation. Realizes that Carol was responsible for postponing his surgery and accuses her of cheating the system. Carol asks if he should die just because the system is broken. Maggie accuses Pamela of autocracy. Pamela claims that Maggie is the sole leader in the Hilltop, but Maggie insists that the Hilltop is run more fairly than the Commonwealth. She points out that Pamela has better cars and a better house than everyone else. Rosita joins Eugene, who is sitting alone on a bench. She comforts him when he tells her that Stephanie broke up with him. Maggie returns to Hilltop with a convoy of broomsticks. Commonwealth servicemen deliver supplies to the community. Herschel helps Daryl unload supplies. Mercer notes that Daryl is beginning to appreciate the Commonwealth, but warns that it is not perfect. Carol and Jerry visit Ezekiel before his surgery in the hospital. The nurse is taken from the hospital or to the operation. Hornsby asks Maggie if she has made the decision to cooperate with the Commonwealth. Maggie asks what he will get from the deal. Hornsby talks about his vision of a thriving network of communities between which citizens can move. Maggie hears the alarm. Residents of the Hilltop run outside to repel the attack of walkers. Walkers break through the perimeter of the Hilltop. Maggie, Elijah, Lydia, and other Hilltop residents are fighting the walkers. Mercer joins them with his soldiers, who quickly shoot all the walkers. After that, Diane tells Maggie that they need the help of the Commonwealth. Maggie watches as Mercer lines up his soldiers. Mercer reminds Daryl that he is always being watched. Daryl gets in line with the soldiers. Maggie approaches Pamela and officially refuses the offer of the Commonwealth. When Pamela asks why, Maggie replies that everything is always worth something. Hornsby frowns. Eugene visits Max and apologizes for running away when she revealed her true identity to him. Max asks how he could have been mistaken in thinking that the other woman is Stephanie. Eugene says he wanted her to be real because he was rejected so many times. They start talking about Eugene's affair. They laugh and chat again while Max makes suggestions. Diane tells Maggie that she and several other Hilltop residents are going to live in the Commonwealth. Maggie warns her against trusting the Commonwealth, but Diana says she can't live like this anymore. Hornsby begs Pamela to try to save his plan. Pamela correctly guesses that Hornsby wants to run communities eventually. She agrees to let him continue the community engagement campaign, but warns that there will be consequences if his duties in the Commonwealth are violated. Hornsby enters the forest and fires a pistol into the air. One by one, he shoots the walkers attracted by the sound. Aaron joins him and asks what Pamela thinks about Alexandria. Hornsby says Pamela agrees and that they will bring even more people. He vows to remake the world.